Sanjay, welcome to the Payal Nanjani Leadership Podcast. Such an honor to have you here with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
Wow. And, just for our audience to know, I met Sanjay earlier at one of the conferences. And then, we also met when his new film is coming up, the new movie, Penny and Family, in April. So we will be getting there. But before that, Sanjay, from science writing to directing films, how has that journey been?
Well, it has been a wonderful journey, a little ups and downs, and I had not thought that I'll, drift into towards filmmaking. But it is something that I always thought that I was inclined to since the time I directed the first play in my school when I was in 10th grade, and there was a play which was happening. It was called Singhasan Khali Hai, the throne is empty, and it's like uh, a very famous Hindi play, which I got to direct. And I think since then, I got hooked on to this medium. And plus, I was very much inclined to public speaking, debates, elocution, theater. So it was somewhere inside. But in India, as you know, in a middle class family, your first priority is to get a job and
Yeah.
doing something. Middle class ambitions is maximum to be a civil servant. My father always thought that I'm very good in studies and I'm more suited for civil services. And coming from Bihar, it was a natural choice that you have to go into Delhi University, take admission, do your graduation, and go for civil services. But somewhere I was inclined towards this, so I thought that going to film industry is a very it's for me. It's a dream world. I should start with something what I like most, and it's writing. So I drifted to journalism, and I joined Computers Today, India Today Group, and from there slowly went towards audiovisual. And from audiovisual to, so I didn't take a very straight route to film industry. I didn't straight away come to Bombay because I thought the world is completely different. To make a film, you need a lot of resources and everything. So I thought, let's first test the water. And slowly from documentary I ventured into fiction, and slowly things happened. So yeah, that's what it is.
Wow. So, like you said, your dad wanted you to go into a job or something like that. So, were there any reservations when you told them your interest is the entertainment industry, the media industry?
Yeah, it's very interesting uh, because my father was a professor in a college in Bihar. He was chemistry professor, and one day he asked me that he was in good mood, and he asked, what exactly you want to do? If I just completely left to you, what will you like to do? So I said, I was very young, so I said, I want to be an actor. I want to go into film industry. I thought that he's going to get up and slap me. That when you think of film industry, that to an actor or whatever film industry, how can you even think of that? And coming from a small town, a professor, a teacher, so but he was very calm. And you know what he said? He said, "But uske liye bhi you have to do graduation. You have to finish your graduation, and if you want to do that, go to the film institute, take admission, and then he respected my thoughts. He respected my views. He didn't try to cut me short and say, no, 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 how dare you say that. He never said that. So I also respected his feelings. He's not shutting me up, and his thing was that I should go and try. So I said, I'll try, but if I don't get through, I'll do something which I want to do. And that's what I did. So there was no resistance as such from
Okay.
his side.
Okay.
That was a surprise, to me. Otherwise, I've heard from many my friends and colleagues who were really reprimanded by their parents, and how can you think of even going to film industry?
True.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because that does happen. I mean,
it's a taboo, and yeah,
yeah, it is. It is. So, we do feel that, okay, why do you want to go to this industry? Nothing is going to happen. You need a godfather. But you have made a name for yourself. You made movies like Club 60,
yeah.
and then now you've made Winnie and Family. So you've really made a name for yourself, and the movies that you're making are very geared towards families, and when I say family, the concept of the family, whether it is here in the United States or anywhere in the world. So, what particularly attracts you to subjects like Club 60? Because I think Club 60 was about
Yeah.
senior citizens. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
Winnie and Family, which I've also seen. So, what attracts you towards this subject?
Yeah, very good question. Actually, what inspires me to tell the story is from the real life. I think the stories of you, me, or the people around is something which really inspires me. There is so much of conflict, drama, and emotions in the world around what we call slice of life that we don't need to go, you know, over the top or larger than life stories. I'm a fan of larger than life stories as well. But when I have to tell a story, I look around for inspirations from outside. A very interesting story, which I'll tell you, as you said, how you came to filmmaking. So I was, when I shifted to Mumbai, I wanted to venture into television shows and all because I had my production house. We had produced a lot of shows for Discovery, National Geographic, and I wanted to venture out into entertainment now because that was something my desire. And I had taken a longer route, as I told you, from
Yeah.
media to electronic media to documentaries, and now I was going to feature filmmaking. So, sorry, I missed the link. What I was saying.
So, regarding what attracted you to the subject, you said you're going to have a story on
Yeah. So
this.
what happened when I shifted to Mumbai? At that time, since I played tennis, I talked about the Club 60, how I got inspired, and that was my first feature film in Hindi. So I used to go to play tennis in National Sports Club of India, NSCI, in Bombay, Worli. And I went there, and at that time, I used to go to play at 8:30. 8:30, and that time all the people of my age group had left by then, and I will be left with all the older people, so people in their late 60s, early 70s. And you know what? One day I found a old gentleman having salt and pepper hair, uh, French beard, wearing a T-shirt with a lot of colorful T-shirt with the name, some funky slogans written on that, ponytail. And he came, and there was a platform overlooking the 4 tennis courts.
Oh.
And he shouted from there, "Public, audience," not audience, audience, in his Gujarati accent.
Oh.
I said, "Who is this character?" And he came, introduced himself in a very flamboyant way, and he'll just joke around with his friends, and all kinds of dirty jokes he'll tell. And I said, "These people of my father says they are, this I'm talking about 2008 when I shifted to Mumbai."
Okay.
I said, Who are these people?" And they will have their bantering and everything. He will start doing dandiya if he, hits a good shot. And I saw that he had a group of, the similar age group people. And I thought that, these are South Mumbai rich oldies who have lived their life and, they're whiling away their time happily. So we are the people who have to struggle. Inko kya problem hai? What is the problem they have? Till one day, one of the gentlemen who was 72-year-old, Vijay Sampath, and he was leaving early, lanky fellow, having diabetes and all this thing, but still he was maintaining himself very well, uh, play tennis very well. And one day he was leaving early, and I said, "Vijay bhai, why are you going early today?" So he said, "Sanjay bhai, you don't know. I am going to Bandra court. There is a court case I have to attend." I said, "Court case? What kind of court case?" He said, "No, actually, you haven't seen. I had a son, only son who had committed suicide. And he jumped from ninth floor near Hirapanna, that
There was
shop,
a news.
the
Yeah.
building. Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah.
ninth
There
floor,
was
he
some
jumped.
news. Yeah.
Yes, he was going through depression, and he he was marital discord and all, and he committed suicide. And his wife has, because I was angry, I said something, his wife has put some case on me. I'm just going to attend that. Acha, we'll see you tomorrow. He said it in such an unapologetic way and went off. And I was just dumbstruck and said, "Oh, this guy had was carrying such a vacuum in his life. I never thought by his
Oh.
lively ways." And slowly and steadily, I started sitting with them, chatting with them, writing breakfast for them, and will just be a part of them. And they happily, welcomed me, though I was much younger to them. And I almost became friends with them. And I came to know that all of them has something or the else in their life, which was a sad part or a vacuum. but they all had found a way to live life around that tennis court, which was such a lively and inspirational way that you realize, oh, these guys have so much of problems, still they have found a way to live life. Kisi ki wife has lived, died, he's alone,
Yeah.
sons, the kids are not staying with him, different kinds of problems. And then I found, here is a story which I have never experienced so far. I must share this with the world. So when that desire comes, this story needs to be told,
Mm.
it
Mm.
starts driving you. I just replaced myself with the character of Farooq Sheikh, who is a doctor, his wife Sarika, and they have come to Mumbai. They have lost their only son in US in indiscriminate firing, and they have not been able to cope up with that.
Oh.
Sarika is still held on to that, Sarika's character, but Farooq's character is not able to take it. He tries to commit suicide. He's not able to deal with it. And they land up in Mumbai in the same flat which they bought for their son. And they try to, cope up with life. Wife joins a hospital, but husband Farooq refuses to do anything. And there they find this Guju Bhai kind of, which I said, that public audience kind of character in Raghuveer Yadav, and how how he meets them and forces Farooq Sheikh's character to join a club called Club 60. And he very reluctantly, just by being pushed by his wife, he starts going. And how he slowly becomes one of them and falls in love with life again is the film talks about.
Wow. That's
So
so
had I,
wonderful.
yeah, yeah, so had I not seen that, I
Yeah.
was not inspired. So I get inspired by real life stories. And same thing happened with Vinny and family, because I was dealing with a teenage son who was
Mm.
studying in a South Bombay school. I had my parents coming and staying with me. So I saw that, one day he was listening to a song, which you have seen in the film, and there was cuss words in the song. And
Mm. Uh-huh.
I got a cultural shock. I got a cultural shock. What kind of, and he was very comfortable with it.
Mm.
I said, "Dad, listen to this kind of, what is the problem with you?" And then I realized, this is an interesting, that's conflict in different generations.
Mm.
Then I came to know about a lot of friends, my friends. I knew some of the colleagues. I knew a person who used to book guest houses or the hotel for his parents when they used to come, because he was not able to adjust with his
Yeah.
family. So I realized, okay, here is a story. There is a conflict, drama, and emotion here.
Mm.
That's how those ideas and lots of incidences.
No, but I think it's very real what you're saying.
Yeah.
Having seen Vinny and family at your private screening, I tell you, I went through a series of emotions from laughing to sadness to crying to coming back to laughing. So there was a series of emotions, and I could resonate with having two daughters, teenage. I was able to resonate because I'm the generation where parents are there, where to take care. I am there, and then the kids. So it was very resonating, and more resonating because when you're outside India, in the United States or anywhere outside India, you go through these real life incidences. So in the movie itself, you have shown that there is so much of tug of war between the generations. What causes that tug of war, according to you?
Yeah, I think what happens is that we keep judging each other. All the generations, we all think, there's a dialogue in the film also, that we think
Mm.
that we are the ones who are better off
Yeah.
than our next generation or
Yes.
our earlier generation. We are better off. We know everything. Kids also don't know. Our parents also don't know. We know. So I think we all keep judging. Grandparents keep judging the grandkids. What are they doing? They're just busy on the mobile. They just do parties, this,
Yeah.
that, blah, blah. Parents are sandwiched between the two generations. They, touch their feet of the
Yeah.
parents and do high five with their kids. So they have to balance both the things. So we all are searching for a common middle ground. So can there be a common middle ground? So film tries to explore that there is a middle ground. And what we would realize while writing it and while exploring the solutions for it is that it's communication gap. We
Mm.
don't communicate with them because grandkids think that, as we said, they judge. What can I learn from grandfather? Yeah? Grandfather thinks, what can I teach him? I mean, or her.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the idea is that, don't try to learn or teach or anything. Just sit and spend time with them. You never know, communication gap.
Yeah.
The bigger the
True.
communication gap, bigger the generation gap. There
True.
are cases where the grandkids and the grandparents are very close, but those are very rare cases, where they have, either have been brought up by them. They are like, parents are like working parents, they are always away, and they have grown up with the grandparents. They're very close to them. I have met a lot of kids during the screening. They said they're very close to the grandparents,
Yeah.
and they really like the film. But there are many who are disconnected. As you say, that many people stay in US, UK. In our story, the parents are staying in UK, the
Yes.
grandparents are staying
Yeah.
in Bihar.
Mm.
2 months, for 2 months they come. Then it become all the adjustment issues.
Yes. Yes. That when
You
will
know,
they go? When will they leave?
yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
and
And everybody
the
tries to
daughters,
just make their
yeah,
lives
daughters
look
exactly.
wonderful in front of them.
Yeah. So yeah, they have to just put up a facade
Yeah.
that okay, 2 months, it's 2 months story, and we are fine.
Exactly.
So you should not wait for a dramatic incident or conflict
Mm.
to happen to realize that, oh, I should have, spent some time with him. I know many of my friends who said, I'll be in the middle of something and my mom will call. Did you
Mm.
have your dinner?
Mm.
And what kind of question is this? Just in the middle of, and
Mm.
you know what you are going through, whatever it is, but she's only bothered about your well-being. She will just, you know,
Yes.
call and ask, and you will get irritated. And when she's not there, you just miss. Oh shit. And then what is the use? I mean, when they are there and you should not, just put that aside, talk to
Yeah.
her, she'll feel nice. That's all. But in our
True.
old rigmarole of daily life, the pressures, the aspirations, we
Yeah,
just
we
forget
just
those,
forget. Yes.
just forget
In
those things.
In fact, with what you just said, I remember my mom, like she always tells me even now, she says that,
Yeah,
while, we are alive, do what you
yeah,
can. Once we
yeah.
are gone, then there is no point in putting a picture and putting the candles and the
True,
flowers. Do what you want now. So I think that is so
true,
important. Even I have learned that from her, and I teach my children the same. And you
so
said
true.
something about closeness, and you have a teenager yourself. I know a lot of people whose children are close to the grandparents, but still
Yeah,
there is this push and pull
yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
But
Either
their
they're too
hearts, they
close
are
there.
very clean. This
Yeah,
generation,
yeah,
the hearts, they are very clean, but still there is this tug of war. Is that the
yeah.
generation gap? Or because we also had generation gap, but this time it looks like really tremendous and really white.
Yes. So every generation has its own challenge. I mean, today it's a different challenge. In our time, it was a different challenge. In our parents' time, it was a different challenge. So in our parents' time, maybe just to have a smoke hiding away from your parents was a big
Yeah,
challenge,
yeah,
right? In our case, just a little fashion, going to movies was a big challenge. You have to take permission, and my dad will say, no, no, no. So whenever he'll go away from town, we'll go and tell our mom, me and my sister will go and convince our mom, this is a very social drama. We must
yeah,
go and watch the film.
yeah.
So, that kind of thing. Today, parents are more like friends with the kids,
Hmm.
which brings its own challenge.
Hmm.
Earlier, there was a distance between father and son.
Yeah, yeah,
As
true.
you've seen in the film, that the father and son have never hugged each other. Today, like on
Yeah,
every second occasion, I mean,
true.
we just hug each other and
Oh,
everything.
God. Yeah, very much, very
Yeah.
much.
And now the kids are so much exposed to so many things that to come to terms with the basic human emotions are very, very, very difficult.
Yeah,
That's what
that
I think.
is
That's
true.
what the challenge is. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it's difficult, but it's just it's challenge.
the
Like,
handling of the
yeah,
emotions.
I mean, they say that, I mean, in the film also, that the grandparents are nice people, but
Yeah,
what can I go and sit and talk to them?
hmm,
Don't
true.
expect me to sit and chill with them.
Yeah,
That's what the basic concern is. But the idea is that just go and sit with them, talk to them just like that. You never know what
yeah,
will come out, some gem from their life's experience. The difference
right.
is, just because today we are writing emails, earlier it was postcard. The content doesn't change,
Exactly.
emotions don't change.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That is so wonderfully
Yeah,
put.
so I
The
will sum it
emotions
up in
don't
a way
change.
that, yeah, in the film itself, that the overall summation is that with time, fashion and technology changes. Lifestyle changes. Life does not change.
Very
So
right.
you will learn something about life. So don't just sit with them, just talk randomly, Just ask what they have eaten, what movie they have seen, would you like to see something, and something will come out of that. If you're organically just talking and discussing, something will come out of that will just change your life or just give you a different perspective only.
Yeah.
Like my dad once told me, you don't see always ahead, sometimes look back also. And that stayed with me. I've used in the film also that line. So, we always are aspirational. Oh, uske paas ye hai. He has this thing. Who he has. There are so many people who don't have that. So why are you not happy with what you have? So many times the aspiration and ambitions takes a toll on you,
Yeah.
and then you miss out on what you have.
Right. And then that's how in fact, we are so consumed in our work, like you said.
True.
And,
Yeah.
talking about work, like you said, this movie is something which will resonate so much with our corporate world, as such,
Yes.
with our executives. Now, there are so many executives who are working hard, they have late nights, travels around the world, and they miss out on their family time. So, what would be your thoughts on that?
I think what we need to do is that we have to live in present. There was a story we had read in our school or college. It was called Three Questions. What is the best time, place, or person?
Ah,
And it was the time you are in is the best time. The place you are there at that point is the best place. And the person you are talking to is the best person at that point of time. So just we have really learned to switch off and switch on. We need to detach ourselves. When we are at work, we need to detach ourselves with the family. When we are at with family, we just need to detach. Nothing, I mean, after uh, pandemic, we should be wise enough that nothing is permanent. We have to just get the most out of what we have.
very
Never
right.
know what will happen the other
Very
day,
right.
next day. So just, I think, even today, even now, if we have not learned, then I mean,
Yeah.
we have lost so many people. I mean, never
Too
knew
many.
that this pandemic will
Suddenly.
take over suddenly. So
Yeah.
nothing is permanent. I mean, what you have, enjoy it to the fullest. But
Mhm.
problem is that we are always, with changing time, we are getting more and more aspirational. The more or more consumerism is there. So what I have, what I don't have, what I aspire for, that takes a toll on us, and then we don't enjoy what we have also.
Very right. And in fact, with what you just said, see, aspirations are going to be there. It's always going to rise. And I think that's a good thing that we all have. Based on what you said, that let your mind be in the present. We usually take ourselves either into the past or into the future. Both are anxiety zones,
Both are
basically.
not in your hand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both the anxiety zones that you're entering into.
True.
So in fact, when you and I were talking earlier, and you were mentioning that so many corporates are the ones who want something like this, like they want their
Yep.
people to see this type of a movie. They
Yeah.
want their people to go out there and connect with their families by watching a movie like Me and Family. So,
Yeah.
when it comes to the corporate life, how do you see how do you see a connect or a disconnect between them and their families?
You said disconnect between them and their families.
Families, yeah.
Yeah. I think, see, I look at corporate also as a family, that is also a family. It's like you work together, or, spend a lot of time together. You are aspiring for a certain goal. And that bonding also is very important. So when I was talking about this film to someone from the corporate world, and that's where this perspective came, it was very interesting perspective. I said, he told me that when we're talking about generational gap and conflict in today's context, he said that why are you thinking that the generation gap and the conflict stays only in the family? It's also there in the corporates. So
Very
there is a
right.
generation gap there also. Yeah. And there are generational conflict between the father and the son who are in the same business.
Mm,
There is between a person who has joined now at a much higher salary, where another person has taken years to reach that position. So there
right.
is a conflict there. So, you have to learn to deal with the conflicts are always going to be there, whether it is a family, in your personal life or in your professional life. So as I
Right.
said, professional life is also like a family. So you are dealing
Very
with
true.
people. Family is also, close knit people
Mm,
uh, who matter to you. In professional life, you're spending 8 to 10 hours with them. That also is a family. So you need to deal with them. It's just like
Agree.
that. As you deal with your family, you need to deal
Yeah,
with them. And just switch on, switch off. I mean, when you are at work, be at work. When you are with family, be with the family. If
very
we
right.
that present thing, the three questions thing, that's the time you have. That is what you are. The most important thing you are doing is right now. If I'm talking to you right now, you are the most important person for me right now. If I start thinking about 100 other things, and now what will happen after this, where I have to go, I'm spoiling even this moment with you, which is so
Yeah.
enlightening. And so, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's same thing we do in our, if we do in our normal life, we spoil the other thing as well.
That is very true. And like you said, the workplace is a family, and now we are seeing the new generation of workforce coming in. We are seeing, now is the millennials, the alpha generation, new generations come with new thoughts. And like you said, you know, watching this movie is not just for the family. It's like your corporate is a family itself. So how are you adjusting to each other's thought process?
Exactly.
And you're not going to wait for
Exactly.
something to happen for you to realize the value of someone who is senior most to you in the company. So I think that's a very good blend the way you have put it, Sanjay. So
Yes, yes.
that's really nice.
I also realized while, talking to people and this, when you interact with people, that's what I'm saying. When you interact with people, you get perspectives and you
Yes.
respect their thoughts. You don't think that you are the one who know everything. Oh, I've made this film. I know everything about relationships. I know everything. I mean, got this perspective and said such an interesting perspective. The
Yeah.
person told me that, the conflicts are in the corporates and the HR person. We are dealing with that conflict
Yeah.
only all the time.
Every day.
Some colleague is complaining about someone else, something else is happening. Same thing. Uh,
Yeah.
so I
No,
think
very
that's
true.
what it
So,
is.
so tell me, Sanjay, as a person, um, are you the type who usually gets along well with any generation?
I try my best. I have a good relation with my father,
Mhm.
and I hope I have good relations with my son also.
I'm sure
So
you do.
yeah, yeah. So I try to be. I consciously chose to be a friend with my son. A lot of people don't do, but since he was my only son, I realized that I need to be friend with him because he needs to share. If he
Mm.
starts holding it to himself, it might just, for
Yeah,
the single child, that might be a problem.
I
So
agree.
I try to be a friend with him, which worked. And now that we are working together, he is working with me. We fight. We
Wow.
we talk to
So
each
you see
other,
that
everything.
you see the
We what
generation
we,
thought
yeah,
difference.
and we try to see. What I learned from him is that once we're open to each other, we are not the bond. I mean, we are not the one who know everything. So he respects my domain. I respect his domain. Like when we were writing this film, he respected my thoughts, while the young kids' dialogues, when he came with his thoughts, that we don't speak like that.
Wow.
Nowadays we speak like this. So I said, let's take that. So I respected his thoughts.
Yeah.
So that's how, I
Oh,
mean, you have to give
wonderful.
space to each other. Don't think that you are the one who know everything. No, you don't. So that's the fact. Don't
No
think that you know
wonder. It
everything
is
and
so
your
true.
parents don't and your kids don't. So
True.
you give space to each other. आपको करना है नहीं करना है, whether you want to accept that or not, this is your choice. But be open to them.